Well, dear friends, now that we have observed the topics that we will cover in Module 2, we will begin the journey by looking at some of the things you need to know in order to utilize the normal distribution curve. We will start with probability, percents, and decimals. Probability is the likelihood that an event will occur. Examples might be that 3 out of 7 times an event will occur. 10 out of 13 times an event will occur. 17 out of 19 times an event will occur. Do you see the need to standardize these things? How does 3 out of 7 compare to 17 out of 19 and 10 out of 13? If we can look at probability and the likelihood that an event will occur, and we can standardize the way that we view it, it will make our using of the information much more easy. Like 12 out of 100 times an event will occur is very easily compared to 18 out of 100 times an event will occur, or 18.4 times out of 100 an event will occur. Makes the comparison easier when we standardize. We like using 100 as the base because our entire financial system is based on 100. It's based on 1 penny, or 100 pennies equals $1. And all of that is in base 10, which is even nicer, but it makes it very easy for us to use it. Let's look at percent as another way of expressing how many out of 100. 17% means 17 out of 100. So we might say that if something is going to happen 17 out of 100 times, then 17% of the time it's going to occur. 23% means 23 out of 100, 98% means 98 out of 100. The percent notation comes from the business world and founded on the number of cents out of a dollar. 17% was 17 cents out of a dollar, 23% was 23 cents out of a dollar, 98% was 98 cents out of a dollar. Probabilities are often expressed in percents. This is a very common thing. Now, probability is percent. This is a means of easily expressing the likelihood that an event will occur. Examples: we have a 40% chance of rain. That means 40 out of 100 times we will get rain. And with similar circumstances, it will rain. This means that in 60 out of 100 times, the similar circumstances, it will not rain. So if we have a 40% chance of rain, that means 40 out of 100 times it will rain. 60 out of 100 times it will not rain. The chance that it will rain and that it will not rain add up to 100%. Look, it's either going to rain or it's not going to rain. Probabilities are very easy to understand. Now, we have a 17.5 chance of being selected. Our chance of being selected is 17.5 out of 100. Our chance of not being selected is 82.5 out of 100. Our chance of being selected and our chance of not being selected adds up to 100%, or 100 out of 100. We have a 100% chance of being either selected or not selected. Now, what I'm trying to do is to demonstrate to you how important it is that we put things in terms of percents and think of them as decimals as well. A percent is, in fact, a way of writing a decimal. Percents can easily be written as decimals, and decimals can be written as percents. For example, 17% is 17 out of 100. 0.17 is a fraction, which means 17 out of 100. 17%, 17 out of 100. 0.17 means 17 out of 100. They mean the same things. Notice that if we divide the percent by 100, we get the decimal. And if we multiply the decimal times 100, we get the percent. So there's a direct relationship. 17% equals 0.17. Both of them equal 17 out of 100. 23% is 23 out of 100. 0.23 is a fraction, which means 23 out of 100. 23% equals 0.23 equals 23 out of 100. This is very easy. Percents are decimals, and decimals are percents. A percent can be written as a decimal can be written as a percent. Now, the reason that we're studying this is because that when we look at probabilities, we will see them as percents, and we will see them as decimals. We may find the probability as the decimal and then convert it into a percent to make meaning out of it. Seeing decimals as percents. Decimals can be converted to percents by moving the decimal places over to the right. This is like multiplying the decimal by 100. In other words, 0.1459 equals 0.1459 times 100% is 14.59%. To change it to percent, all we did is move the decimal 2 places. If we want to move the percent and change it back to a decimal, we move it 2 places to the left. A decimal, we move 2 places to the right to change it to a percent. 0.2758 is 27.58%. 0.0005 is 0.05%. The probability tables that we will use are usually written as decimals with 4 places. Notice that I used 4 places in each of these. So our probability tables will be written this way, and we will convert them to percentages. We will need to see them as percents, even though they are written as decimals. This is fun. Now let me summarize. Probability is the likelihood that an event will occur. Percent is another way of expressing how many events occur out of 100. Decimal play of writing a fraction in base 10. This allows us to view events in terms of how many events out of 100. Probability, percent, and decimal numbers are interchangeable. This allows us to standardize in terms of the number of chances out of 100. Now, I told you it was going to be easy, but you have to be able to see a probability, a percent, and a decimal as exactly the same things. We'll write them perhaps in different forms. Now, let me encourage you to keep climbing the ladder. You've got this. You've already mastered the first rung. We just need to get through the second rung, and we'll climb right up to the top. An introduction to statistics will be a successful encounter for us that occurred in our past. So all you have to do is just keep climbing.